Welcome back to my channel. Today we're taking a closer look at one of the most interesting and unique coins in U.S. history, the 1943 Lincoln Steel Wheat Penny. This particular one is a large date version with the D mint mark, and it's in dirty condition. We'll dive into its history, its design, and its value in today's market. Stick around to find out how much this historical coin is worth today. The 1943 Lincoln Steel Wheat Penny was minted during a period of great change in the United States. As World War II raged on, the country faced significant shortages of copper and other metals, which led the U.S. Treasury to issue steel pennies in 1943 as a temporary measure. These pennies were struck using steel and coated in zinc, making them completely different from the traditional copper pennies people were used to. The large date variant of this penny was specifically struck in 1943, and while it wasn't intended to be rare, certain features like this and variations in mint marks can make these coins particularly interesting to collectors. Let's break down the design features of the 1943 Lincoln Steel Wheat Penny. On the obverse, we see the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This image has graced the U.S. 1-cent coin since 1909. The inscription reads, "Liberty and in God we trust," along with the year 1943. Now on the reverse, you'll see the classic wheat ears that surround the phrase "E pluribus unum" and the words 1 cent and United States of America. These design elements are a hallmark of the Wheat Penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. The large date on the 1943 penny is a characteristic that sets this coin apart from others, making it a valuable part of many collectors' portfolios. Now, let's discuss the condition of this coin. This 1943 Lincoln Steel Wheat Penny is in dirty condition. While the steel composition of the coin can help preserve its detail over time, this particular penny has accumulated dirt tarnish and discoloration, making it less visually appealing to some collectors. However, the dirt and grime don't necessarily reduce its historical significance. Coins in dirty condition often have diminished aesthetic appeal, but can still hold value based on rarity, historical context, and demand. The 1943 steel penny series in general is highly collectible, even in less than perfect condition. So how much is this 1943 Lincoln Steel Wheat Penny worth today, even with its dirty condition? To answer that, we need to consider several factors: the coin's historical value, its rarity, and its demand among collectors. In dirty condition, the 1943 Lincoln Steel penny with the D mint mark typically has a value that ranges from $300,000 in today's market. While this is significantly lower than coins in higher grades, it's still a solid price for a coin that's part of a historic series and holds sentimental value for many collectors. Coins in cleaner or higher grade conditions can fetch much more $350,000 in today's market. And coins that are graded higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can go for even higher prices, sometimes reaching $500 or more depending on their condition. Despite being in dirty condition, the 1943 Lincoln Steel penny still attracts interest from a wide range of collectors. For those building a wheat penny collection, this is an essential coin to have, especially since the 1943 steel penny is one of the most distinctive and historically significant pennies ever produced in the U.S. Collectors who specialize in World War II-era coins, or those interested in mint mark variations. Like the D mint mark on this particular penny, will find the 1943 steel penny to be a valuable addition to their collection. Next up, the 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny. This coin is in extra fine condition with the large date and no mint mark. We'll explore its historical significance, design features, and of course its value in today's market. Stick around as we dive into the fascinating world of this iconic penny, the 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted at a time of great economic growth in the United States, following the end of World War II. By 1958, the Wheat Penny series had been in circulation for nearly 50 years. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This coin was part of the final year of the Wheat Penny series, before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial Penny in 1959. For collectors, the The 1958 Lincoln wheat penny is particularly significant because it marks the end of an era. The large date variation, with no mint mark, is a key feature in making this coin a valuable addition to a collection. Now, let's break down the design of the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny. On the obverse, you'll find the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His image has graced the U.S. 1-cent coin since its inception in 1909. The inscription reads, "Liberty and in God, we trust," along with the year 1958. On the reverse, we see the familiar wheat stalks on either side of the coin, which is where the name wheat penny comes from. The reverse also features the phrase e pluribus unum, as well as United States of America and 1 cent. This design would be replaced with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, starting in 1959, making the wheat penny a historically significant coin. The large date version of the 1958 penny is distinct, as the digits of the year are larger compared to other years in the series. This variation adds to its collectability as it stands out among other Lincoln wheat pennies. Now, let's talk about the condition of this particular penny. This 1958 Lincoln wheat penny is in extra fine condition. Coins in this grade show very little wear on the design elements, with only slight signs of handling. The Lincoln portrait and wheat stalks are still sharp, and the coin retains a nice level of detail, which makes it an attractive piece for collectors. Coins in extra fine condition are highly sought after by collectors because they strike the perfect balance between preservation and value. They're not perfect, but they show only minimal signs of circulation, making them much more valuable than a coin in good or fine condition. So, what's this 1958 Lincoln wheat penny worth today? Well, when evaluating the value of a coin, we take into account several factors: the condition, rarity, and collector demand. In extra fine condition, the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny is worth between $70,000 in today's market. While this isn't as high as rarer coins in perfect condition, it's still a respectable value for a coin in such good shape, especially considering that the wheat penny series is nearing the end of its run. If this coin were to be graded higher, say in AU, almost uncirculated, or MS mint, state grades, the value could increase significantly, possibly fetching up to $90,000 in today's market or more, depending on the grade and demand at auction. Coins that are graded professionally by organizations like PCGS or NGC can also see higher values, especially in extra fine or better condition, because these grades are more consistent and reliable in the eyes of collectors to pennies. Next up, the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny, without mint mark and in dirty condition. Stick around as we explore its value in today's market, its design, and why even a dirty coin like this still sparks the interest of collectors. The 1956 Lincoln wheat penny was minted during a time of significant economic growth in the United States, right after the end of World War II. By this time, the wheat penny series, which began in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, had been in circulation for nearly 5 decades. The 1956 penny is part of the final years of this classic coin before the introduction of the Lincoln Memorial penny in 1959. Let's take a closer look at the design of the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny. On the obverse, you'll find the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design has been used on U.S. 1-cent coins since 1909, marking Lincoln's enduring legacy in American history. On the reverse, you'll see the familiar wheat stalks, which is where this coin gets its name, the wheat penny. The reverse also displays e pluribus unum, the national motto, along with United States of America, and 1 cent. One thing to note is that this 1956 penny has no mint mark. In 1956, the U.S. Mint operated at the Philadelphia Mint, where the majority of the coins were produced, and those coins typically did not have a mint mark. This is why we refer to this penny as the no mint mark variety. Now, let's talk about the condition of this particular coin. This 1956 Lincoln wheat penny is in dirty condition, which means it shows signs of wear, tarnish, and dirt accumulation. While this doesn't affect the coin's historical significance, it does impact its market value. Coins in dirty condition are often not as desirable as those in higher grades. The dirt and grime on the surface can obscure some of the details, and collectors generally prefer coins that have been well preserved. However, even a dirty penny like this can still hold value, especially if it's a key date or part of a series with high demand. So, what's the value of this? 1956 Lincoln Wheat penny in today's market. While a clean, well-preserved coin would fetch a higher price, the dirty condition does bring down its value a bit. In its dirty condition, this coin typically ranges from $43,000 in today's market. This is based on current market trends, where coins in good or fine condition are valued slightly higher than those in dirty condition. Despite the dirt, the 1956 Lincoln Wheat penny is still a relatively common coin and is often worth less compared to rarer or higher-grade coins from earlier years. However, don't be fooled. Collector demand and rarity still play a big part in determining the value. So while this coin might not fetch much right now, it could still see a price bump if demand for wheat pennies rises in the future. Despite the dirty condition, the 1956 Lincoln Wheat penny remains a coin of interest to collectors. The Wheat penny series is one of the most collected coin series in the US, and even in a dirty state, these pennies can still be valuable pieces of history. Collectors who are passionate about Lincoln pennies or those building a wheat penny set will often seek out coins like this, even if it's not in pristine condition. Coins in all conditions have a place in a collector's journey, and every coin tells a story about the past. In conclusion, the 1956 Lincoln Wheat penny in dirty condition is a great example of a coin that still carries historical weight, even if it's not in perfect condition. While its market value may be lower than coins in better grades, it still holds a special place in the world of numismatics. Next up, the 1927 Lincoln Wheat penny, with the D mint mark, in dirty condition. You might be wondering, can a penny like this still have some value in today's market? Well, stick around as we dive into its history, design, and how much it's worth today. The 1927 Lincoln Wheat penny is a classic example of early 20th century U.S. coinage. The Wheat penny series, which began in 1909, honored President Abraham Lincoln. By 1927, this design had been in circulation for nearly 2 decades, with the iconic Lincoln portrait still gracing the obverse and the wheat stalks on the reverse. During this time, America was in the midst of the Roaring Twenties, a decade marked by economic prosperity, cultural change, and technological advances. But even though pennies like the 1927 Wheat penny were produced in large quantities, they've become much more collectible as time has passed. Let's take a closer look at the design of the 1927 Lincoln Wheat penny. On the obverse, we see Abraham Lincoln's portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design has been a part of U.S. coins since 1909, commemorating the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Lincoln's image on the penny remains one of the most iconic portraits in American numismatics. On the reverse, you'll find the familiar wheat stalks that give this penny its name. The E pluribus unum motto, which translates to "out of many one," is inscribed above the stalks, along with United States of America and 1 cent. The D mint mark on the coin signifies that it was struck at the Denver Mint, which began minting coins in 1906. The 1927 D variety is one of the more common mintage years of the Wheat penny series, but that doesn't mean it's without value. Now, let's talk about the condition of this particular coin. The 1927 D Lincoln Wheat penny here is in dirty condition, which means it shows heavy tarnish, dirt, and wear. While this might not be the most ideal condition for a coin, it doesn't mean that it has no value. Coins in dirty condition may not fetch as much as their cleaner counterparts, but they still hold value to the right collectors. The dirt and grime on the coin's surface can hide important details, and it also affects the overall appearance. Cleaning coins can sometimes cause further damage, so it's best to leave them in their natural state. While dirty condition coins are often less appealing to collectors, the 1927 D penny still holds historical significance and can be valuable. So, what's the market value of this 1927 D Lincoln Wheat penny in dirty condition? Generally, coins in poor or dirty condition can be found for much lower prices than those in uncirculated or mint condition. For this coin, the value typically falls in the range of $56,000 in today's market. In its current state, depending on the extent of wear and dirt. However, it's important to note that wheat pennies like the 1927D can still be valuable to collectors looking to complete their sets, even in dirty condition. Coins in this condition are often considered affordable for beginners or collectors who are looking for historical pieces without breaking the bank. If this coin were to be in better condition, it could easily fetch a price closer to $85,000 in today's market. In fine or very fine condition. But as is, it remains a piece of history that's still sought after by collectors who enjoy owning pieces from the Wheat Penny series. So what makes this coin interesting to collectors? Even in dirty condition, the 1927D Lincoln Wheat Penny remains an important piece of numismatic history. For one, the Wheat Penny series has always been one of the most collected sets in U.S. coinage. Collectors are constantly on the lookout for different dates and mint marks to complete their collections. While the 1927D penny might not be the rarest or most valuable, it's still part of a beloved series. Its status as part of the Lincoln Wheat Penny collection ensures it holds appeal for those who are passionate about collecting American coins. Next up, the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny, with the D mint mark in damage condition, but with stunning red color shade. You might be asking, how valuable can a penny in damage condition actually be? Well, stick with me as we break down this coin's story and value in today's market. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck in the midst of World War II's end as the world transitioned into a new era of recovery and rebuilding. The Wheat Penny series had been in circulation since 1909, featuring the portrait of Abraham Lincoln. By 1945, the penny had seen many changes, but the classic design by Victor David Brenner remained unchanged. As the war was nearing its conclusion, this penny, like many others, would circulate widely, being used for everyday purchases by the American public. But what makes the 1945 particularly interesting and still valuable in modern times is its place within the Wheat Penny collection. Now, let's take a look at the design features of this 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny. On the obverse, we see the well-known portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's image on the penny remains one of the most iconic in U.S. coinage history. On the reverse, we find the familiar wheat stalks, symbolizing America's agricultural roots. The E Pluribus Unum motto is inscribed above, with the words United States of America and 1 cent underneath. What sets this coin apart, however, is the D mint mark. This indicates that the penny was minted at the Denver Mint, which started minting coins in 1906. The 1945 D variety is one of the most common dates and mint marks in the Wheat Penny series. However, when it comes to coins in damaged condition, it's not about how common the mint mark is, it's all about its specific condition and how collectors perceive it. Now let's talk about the condition of this particular coin. As you can see, this 1945 D Lincoln Wheat Penny is in damaged condition. The damage might include scratches, dings, discoloration, or other imperfections. This is important because, when it comes to coin grading, damage can significantly affect a coin's value. Coins in damaged condition tend to have lower values than coins in uncirculated or better conditions. However, this penny also has an interesting red color shade. Coins with this color are often called red pennies, a term used to describe coins that have maintained a high level of copper's natural reddish tint. This can happen when a penny has been exposed to air for a long period of time but hasn't yet oxidized or turned brown. The red color can make the coin visually striking, even though the damage reduces its overall value. It's also important to note that damage condition can result from several things like poor handling, environmental factors, or accidental mishaps. These elements can all influence the price and collectability of the coin. So, what's the market value of a 1945 D Lincoln Wheat Penny in damaged condition with this red color shade? Generally, a 1945 D penny in damaged condition isn't worth a lot. typically ranging from $97,000 in today's market, depending on the extent of the damage and the coin's aesthetic appeal. However, the red color shade can give it a slight boost in value, especially for collectors who specialize in color varieties or those looking to add a unique piece to their collection. Even though the coin is in damaged condition, it still holds historical value, and collectors interested in the Wheat Penny series might find it appealing at a modest price. If this coin were in better condition, such as fine or very fine, it could easily be worth around $105,000 in today's market or more. But as it stands, this 1945D coin in damaged condition and with a red color shade might still catch the eye of collectors who are drawn to the coin's character. So, what makes this coin interesting to collectors? Even in damaged condition, the 1945D Lincoln Wheat Penny remains a key part of the Wheat Penny series, which is one of the most widely collected coin sets in America. Collectors often look for